All right, and welcome back to another edition of Tips for Tuesdays. Once again, today we have our coach Jordan Christie here who's going to be demonstrating some exercises for you folks today, some do's and don'ts. Today's topic is going to be actually a two, maybe even three-part series, and I'm going to call it a press is a press is a press. All right, and the reason why I'm going with that theme is because we're going to show you some push-up variations, how to do them, and then also how to scale them, and then also how that translates into bench press and overhead press with the barbell as well too. There's not a lot of changes in terms of shoulder and elbow placement, so we want to cover all those movements, but today we're going to focus on push-ups. So when we do push-ups, there's obviously a right way and a wrong way to do them. So we're going to demonstrate the right way to do it, a couple of different techniques or tweaks that we want to make sure that we're focusing on, and then we're going to show you some faults that we commonly see that we want to avoid. So Jordan's going to go down to our push-up position. All right, and a couple things you want to make sure that you are in position here when you're down here in that plank is that your shoulders are placed over your hands, your fingertips are facing forward, and your elbows, okay, the pit of your elbows or the crease of your elbows are facing forward. All right, what we do here is we actually coach to screw your shoulders in or externally rotate your shoulders. So what that would look like is if you don't have that position, it would look like this. The tips of your elbows are pointed out. All right, we don't want to have that position in there. We want to externally rotate the shoulders, screw them in so that the tips of the elbows are pointed out behind you. Okay, and that's the reason for that is if you screw these out, okay, and you're in an internally rotated position, as you do a push-up, just do like a half push-up, you're going to see the elbows fly out away from the body. Okay, come back up. If you externally rotate, screw those shoulders in, okay, we're going to be in a great push-up position right here. Okay, so she's going to go down, chest touches the deck, and then she's going to go back out to a locked out position. Active shoulders, active scapulothoracic joint right here. So we'll see folks that aren't actively contracting their scapulothoracic joint, they'll get kind of like a little divot right here. Wow, that's serious, okay? Okay, so we just call it sinking into the shoulders. So we want to make sure we're in a nice protracted position here. So we're going to do one more push-up. Go ahead, go down, chest to the deck, and then back up. Okay, you just drop to the knees for a second. Okay, now a couple other coaching cues we want to work on when we're doing the push-up are making sure the glutes are tight, so we're squeezing the butt, and then also the abs are tight, okay? Just say ass and abs tight at all times when you're doing your push-ups. It'll give you a little assist on the way up. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more. If you could just show me two more push-ups. Okay, when we go down, the elbows are in, okay? So they're in towards the body, and then back up, okay? And then one more, okay, and then up. All right, okay, good. Back down to the knees. Okay, so a couple of faults we'll see are the first thing that we're going to go over is the elbows out position. So we'll get back into the push-up position. So we're going to assume that Jordan did not screw her shoulders in and externally rotate. She's going to be in an internally rotated position, and a common fault is going to be the elbows out position. All right, so just do one more. Okay, all right, so the deal is you can drop to your knees here. The further away an extremity, okay, arms or legs are away from the midline of the body, okay, the more susceptible you are to injury. And that's when we'll start to see people with some elbow tendonitis, okay, some anterior shoulder problems, those type of things. So making sure that the elbows are tucked in when you're doing your push-up. Okay, we're going to go back down. The other thing we'll see is hands turned out, okay, and then when we see the hands turned out, okay, we're also going to see a bad elbow-shoulder position as well with that. Okay, and then back up. Okay, so that's your shoulder or your push-up progression. Some coaching cues that we're looking for on that in terms of technique. All right, now to scale push-ups, we used to go from the knees, a kneeling push-up, right? Just show me a kneeling push-up. Okay, and with a kneeling push-up, it's real hard to make sure that the core is engaged. Okay, so we want to make sure that your hips are engaged with your shoulders, and the only way you can do that is to be in a full plank position. So we do now, and also the other thing too is from a kneeling position, I was seeing people doing push-ups from the knees forever, and then they were never able to get a real push-up. They weren't developing that core strength. All right. Remember, push-up is not just a pec tricep exercise; it's also core stability exercise. So what we do now is we actually take them and put them on a box here. All right. And what I like about the box is that it has three adjustable heights for the cube. So you can go 20 inches, 24 inches, and 30 inches. So right now it's at 24 inches, so we'll elevate Jordan on a box. And then same principle applies, just like your chest touches the ground, your chest is going to touch the box, and then you're going to come back up. All other principles apply as well too. Elbows in, okay, screwing the shoulders in, right? Ass and abs tight, okay? So that's your box push-up, all right? Another variation that we use here is called a slingshot. So this was developed by Coach Mark Bell. We demonstrated this for the hips. This is just another version. This is the upper body version of the slingshot. So she's going to go ahead and put this in. It has 2 holes for the arms to fit into, and she's going to pull it up just above her elbows. Okay. And now what we like with this is when she gets into the push-up position. Okay, so just put your hands up here like this. Like you're gonna, as she goes down, the band actually stretches, and as she comes up, it gives her a little assist. Okay, now if you could just turn around all the way in the back. Okay, go back into that push-up position. The other thing it does too is the band will actually pull your elbows in to get into that proper push-up position. Okay, so we'll go down and do a push-up with that. So she's going to get into a regular plank stance. Okay, go down, and she actually just lays her chest into that band and then presses up. Nice little assist there. One more. The band pulls the elbows in. Okay, so that's our slingshot version. So we have several of these here at the gym that we'll have people use. Also a good thing to use for dips too. Okay, another variation that we use here, if you don't have a slingshot, you can use a monster band here. And for the ladies, I'm not sure how this one's going to work out for you, especially if you're a little, we'll just call it chesty. All right, but we're going to put you in this position here just so you guys can see what it looks like. So we're going to take the band, make a loop like so, and she's going to stick one arm through here and the other arm through here, and it's going to be just above the elbow, so it looks just like that. All right, okay, we're going to get down back into that push-up position, and same thing, she's going to lay her chest inside the band and then press up. Okay, the band serves the same purpose, pulls the elbows in. Okay, one more, and then back up. Good. Okay. Okay, and then the last progression we'll use is 2 bands here as well too. So we got a 2 monster band system here, one hooked up to the pull-up cage, and then 1 band feeding through that other band. So it's a 2-band system. So you got 2 loops. Okay, an arm's going to feed through here, just going to pull that right up into the shoulders, and then she's going to, it's like a harness, right? So she's going to just walk out a little bit. The further you walk out, the more assistance you're going to have. All right, so from here, she's going to go right down into a push-up position. Okay. And then she's going to perform a push-up for us. Chest to ground, and then the band up. So one more. Good. And then go ahead and come up out of that. All right. So that, and again, there's different resistance of bands out there. So the lighter the band, the harder it's going to be. The heavier the band, the easier it's going to be. All right. So those are a couple variations and progressions for how we assist folks with push-ups and teaching them how to do them properly. All right. So a couple tips for you guys to use at home. Practice those push-ups, and we'll see you next week, and we'll cover the bench press and overhead press. Until next time.